See, America has a long history of social experiments. Some of y'all know about these, especially the psychology students. We've had the Stanford prison experiment. We've had the Holmesburg prison experiment, Tuskegee syphilis experiment. America is known for experimenting on black folk. And I won't be surprised if this latest so-called Cleveland killer ain't nothing but another social experiment like John Ali Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, because you are not going to convince me to this day that the DC snipers were not MK Ultra projects. Those killings in D.C. were not random. They murdered Ken Bridges, the brother who gave us the only black-owned production, distribution, and marketing platform known as Mata. Some of y'all remember Mata. So you trying to tell me that the sniper accidentally killed a Garveyite with the biggest major distribution, marketing, and production platform? That wasn't random. Ain't no random killings, and y'all gonna find out before it's all over that the Chicago killings ain't random. Chicago is an experiment. They're doing a movie on Detroit. They need to do a movie on Chicago right after they do the movie on Detroit. It's not random. This is the government at its best, creating chaos, making you think it's random. Creating chaos, making you think it's random. What they say? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convince man he did not exist. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convince man that he does not exist. Stop sending your children into the military. Black children have no business in the Army. They have no business in the Navy. They have no business in the Air Force. They damn sure don't have no business in the Marine Corps, because in the Marine Corps, they take your whole damn mind. In the Marine Corps, they take your whole damn mind. No more black children in the service dying for drugs and oil. When you go to the hospital, you got to read the papers, because a lot of the hospital papers that they have you sign also gives them authorization to take your organs, authorization to do studies on you while you are sedated. How often do you read? How many of you read everything they give you when you go to the hospital? You don't read it. They give you 5 papers, fine print. You're supposed to read it, mark it up, ask questions. We don't do that. We don't do that. We just sign it and keep on going because we trust white folks. You can't sign it and keep on going. The times is too difficult now. You got to read everything. Pay attention to this, family. Okay, in the Belco experiment, the corporation where everybody worked at was a firm that specialized in international placement of American workers. You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like the missing girls in D.C. This sounds like the 65,000 missing black women in America. This sounds like the over 30,000 missing black men in America. There's a firm that helps Americans find work in other countries. Where our daughters at? You want to know where they at? I got 3 theories on the missing girls, not just D.C., but missing black children all over America, missing black men, missing black women, missing black elders, missing black people, period. I talked about this before. 3 hypotheses here. Number 1, especially for the girls missing in D.C., D.C. is only a few miles from the United States Army Biological Weapons Lab in Fort Detrick, Maryland. D.C. is only a few miles from the United States Army Biological Weapons Lab in Fort Detrick, Maryland. So number 1, they are being used as research monkeys for biological weapons. Facts. I said they are being used as research monkeys for biological weapons. What just came out last week? What did we just hear last week? Oprah Winfrey is going to fund the Henrietta Lacks story. Oprah Winfrey is putting up the money to finally get the Henrietta Lacks story done. Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? See, the rich Negroes, they not free, so they can't speak like you and I, but they do little things that let you know that they know what's going on. You know why Oprah is getting that movie done? Because Oprah got a feeling that those girls were taken by the government. That's right. Oprah got a hunch that those girls were taken by the government. Biological weapon research monkeys. Theory number 2, sex slaves, that's possible. That's possible. The only reason why I'm not too big on the sex slave piece is because they can get sex slaves from other countries who don't have the mouth of a black woman to stand up and speak up for herself. Those little sisters will be fighting. That doesn't mean it ain't happening. And I will say this, that within the community, within the black and Latino community, we have men who exploit teenage girls for sexual escapade. In the black and Latino community, and I'm going to just say African, because Latinos is African too, most of them, but we got sex rings. We got drug dealers, we got gangsters, we got trifling Negroes who psychologically manipulate teenage girls, and then pass them around. And these teenage girls who thirsty for a father figure, these teenage girls who need a man in their life will go and do whatever this older man wants them to do because they want to feel loved. They want to feel needed. They want to feel appreciated. So these girls don't even realize that they're being used as prostitutes because they're not being paid. Let me say it again. A lot of our girls, teenagers, are being prostituted by grown-ass men, and they don't even know they're being prostituted because they're not being paid for the sexual exploitation. Do y'all understand? See, in a child's mind, they're very concrete. Children are very concrete. So if a man doesn't say, I would like to offer you a fee for sex. My friends would like to run a train on you for $300. That's clear prostitution, sex for money. But what these Negroes do is they don't say, I want to pay you for sex. What they do is they actually manipulate the emotions of the girl into making them think they really want them for a relationship. And she gets so dependent psychologically on that man. He didn't have sex with her. It was prostitution. Instead of money, they giving them hope. Instead of money, they giving them hope. Instead of money, they giving them hope and a future with that no good Negro. And this is why I say in the black community, we need to come up with a new statutory rape code. We need our own statutory rape code. A 16-year-old. Although America says 16 is the age of sexual consent. Although America says that 16 years old is the age of sexual consent, I don't agree with that. My daughter be 15 next month. My daughter be 15 next month. She ain't got no damn business dating a 25-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old. I know girls mature quicker than men, but what you need to understand is these men have a psychological advantage because they are being put in the position of daddy in the mind of the daughter. And what do children do? They follow their daughters. And our girls, so thirsty for a father's love, will do whatever these men want them to do, and it will end up being exploited as rape and unpaid prostitution. Unpaid prostitution. I met a girl the other day, 17 years old, pregnant by a 35-year-old. Are you kidding me now? Are you kidding me now? 17, pregnant by a 35-year-old. Do you really think she had equal power in that relationship? 19, pregnant by a 40-year-old. Do you really think they got equal power in that relationship? When are we as a community going to say, no. 25 and under, that need to be fertile ground. 25 and under, they babies. 25 and under, they are babies. And we got to stand up for our young ladies. Mothers, stop kicking your daughters out the house. Mothers, stop kicking your daughters out the house. Stop kicking your daughter out the house and stop being jealous of your damn daughter. Of course her life is going to be better than yours. Of course she's going to do better than yours. The next generation supposed to get better. Don't be jealous, be happy. I'll be happy my daughters do better than me. I want the family to get better. We got black mothers being jealous of black daughters because they live in a life that you didn't live. Stop being jealous of your damn daughter. Be happy for your daughter. And then they get so jealous of the daughters, they kick them out the house. They kick the girls out the house because they jealous. And all you're doing is forcing her into another man's arms. And once she get pregnant, now she really feel dependent on that man. So some of these girls missing, I agree, are being used as unpaid prostitutes in the hood. I agree with that. But most of them are not. Most of them, international sex trafficking, especially down to Mexico, South and Central America, definitely. But also biological weapons. And you know the next thing I'm going to say. The next thing is what? Organ harvesting. Organ harvesting. The black woman is the mother of civilization. The black woman is the mother of civilization. Her kidney, her heart, her lungs, her spleen. Women would die for a black woman's organ. Do you realize the black woman is the only woman whose DNA comes from God? The black woman is the only woman whose DNA comes from God. That's why we have to understand that we are a divine people. We divine, not because of no Islam or Christianity. That ain't got nothing to do with it. We're not divine because of no tribes of Israel. That ain't got nothing to do with it. We are divine because when God decided to make man, when God decided to make man, God made man an African. When God decided to make man, when God decided to make woman, God made man and woman in the image of the African. Our DNA can be traced to the solar system. Our DNA is from supreme consciousness. We come from God. Everybody else come from us. We come from God. Everybody else comes from us. Facts. They will take them to another country and do the experiments on them in another country and do the test on them in another country so you can never find out what happened. And then they will find them somewhere and say they ran away. Ain't no girl running away that long. She will run to a man. She will run to another family member. She will run to a homeless shelter. She will run to her aunt. She will run to her cousin. She will run to her girlfriend. She ain't running away with no damn foreigner. What black girl you know is going to get on a bus or a boat with a damn foreigner? Get the hell out of my face. Our children are too smart for that. Our children are too smart for that. They are too smart for that. They will take them out of the country, experiment with them, bring them back, and make it look like they ran away. You heard the racist police down in D.C., what they say? They just ran away. Black kids run away all the time. Really? White kids run away more than black kids. There's more documented incidents, reports of white kids running away from home, but y'all don't stop looking for them because y'all say they ran away. Why don't y'all stop looking for them when y'all think they ran away? See, y'all still do the Amber Alerts for them, even if they're runaway. Y'all will still do an Amber Alert, even if they're runaway. Y'all talking about abductions only. How you know it was an abduction? There's no way to know that it was an abduction until you find them and certify it as an abduction. Until you find the child and certify it as an abduction, it must be treated as an abduction and should not be assumed to be a runaway. But whenever they black, it's a runaway. But when they white, it's an abduction. Facts. Facts. And the other thing, here's where we at fault. Here's where we at fault as a community, because your daughter should always be accounted for. Your daughter should always be accounted for. I don't care how old she is. Your daughter should always be accounted for. You should be able to pick up the phone, dial 3 numbers, and touch your son or daughter. You should listen to me, parents. This is Parenting 101. You should be able to pick up your telephone, dial 3 numbers. Dial 3 numbers. And one of those numbers you dial better be your child. Because if you can't do that, you're not on your job. See, it's not only that they were snatched up by the government. It's not only that they were kidnapped by the FBI and the CIA and the Center for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration. It's not only that. It's the fact that they probably were somewhere the parents didn't even know they were. See? They were probably somewhere where the parents didn't even know they were. Remember what Baba Dick Gregory said. Baba Dick Gregory said that the reason they took so long, and I'm paraphrasing, but the reason they took so long to report Trayvon as having been murdered because they stole Trayvon's organs. There was another incident the other day. A brother was found stuffed full of newspaper. What was it, last week or the week before? They stealing our organs because organs are the only things you cannot buy in a store. You cannot make them. You can't make them. So they got to harvest the organs. And that's why Henrietta Lacks is so significant, because that black woman had cells that nobody ever had before. You think she the only one? You think Henrietta Lacks was an exception? A lot of black women got God's DNA. Every black woman got God's DNA. Every black man got God's DNA. Your whole molecular structure is totally different from theirs. Your whole molecular structure is totally different from theirs. Why you think they got to keep coming up with different HIVs, different cancers? They got to come up with different this and different that and different this, because God's DNA will find a solution to the disease. So they got to keep coming up with new variations of the disease, because the African immune system is divine and will flush out any disease they try to give to us. So they got to keep on coming up with new ones. This is facts. This is facts.